Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm Will Dragon, and this is All Quiet in the Trenches. In the last episode, we did a beautiful attack against the French trench, and we took it after being bait for the German machine guns to attempt to draw their fire so that our allies could get into the trenches. Now, we managed to do 1 out of 2 because it made us run across a whole battlefield through no man's land just to be bait for a different machine gun. Insanity. We did, however, as you can see, we did get Dana injured. However, he's not doing great. He's had to go to the field hospital. He does, however, have a good recovery, but he is wounded. Now, and the field hospital is very overburdened. There's so many of them here, and more are coming. We'll do everything we are in our power to save Dana, Hare, and Officer. Let's leave. We could try and get some more bandages. Let's not worry about that quite yet. The French will have a hard time stomaching this defeat, but that's no reason to rest on our laurels. I expect full commitment. Your unit is tasked with guard duty. That's a pretty easy task, so I could probably get the day off, so to say, but guard duty is pretty easy. Actually, no, it's not. I lied. It's actually exhausting. I thought it was quite light. How is everybody? I've got one guy who's not even tired. We're actually doing pretty well. You two getting guard duty. We'll keep on normal rations. Let's come to the field hospital. Nurse Elizabeth, current workload, offer assistance, accept. Thank you very much. Assist in the hospital. We will, of course, take Fram. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to take Menk as well. He's already jaded. Let's keep him that way, quite frankly. Very useful for searching dead soldiers. And Linux will get to rest. So, in other words, he is it for next turn. So let's go and do that. Like I said, I'm going to keep that, let's get out of our current job for a time when it's potentially more pertinent, when he maybe asks me to expand the rear trenches. Let's hit next turn. That is a 3-man, very exhausting job. The soldier Linux was small but sturdy and evidently didn't mind doing whatever needed doing. He took on even the most unpleasant tasks without complaint, saw when help was needed somewhere, and lent a hand. One morning, I saw Linux working on a task that I was sure I'd assigned to Fram. I approached him. Let Fram do his own tasks. He has to learn in battle you won't always be able to help him. Linux looked abashed and then nodded. I guess you're right. After brief silence, he added, we have it good here. Everyone has something to eat and we have warm clothes. Our families back home are much worse off. We spoke briefly about the families at home and the duties here at the front before I moved on. This soldier had obviously seen a lot. Alright, ooh, and Dana is back with us. Beautiful, he's up to a very good recovery. So more to the point, we also helped heal and, triage, etc. a lot of soldiers. We also got Dana healed, so he is no longer a burden on them. All I'm saying is we're down to hospital partially occupied. I mean, brilliant. Disappointed removed and upset removed. Belonging removed and determined removed, which is not a great thing. Well rested added. Wow, he is doing fantastic. And relieved removed. He is also on a very good recovery. He's down to lightly wounded. Pedersen is healed. That is also fantastic. We do now have rats, however. Which means we lost an extra week's worth of rations. I do not like that. I've been released from the hospital. I'm still a bit bruised, but I'm feeling a lot better. I think he got hit with a grenade, so... yeah. The bruise thing actually makes a lot of sense. These villagers are suspect. This is also a pretty easy task. So, pest control. Nothing that makes a difference to anybody. So, right, we'll send you two. You're both fairly tolerant. He's very jaded, but he's very tolerant. Tolerantly jaded. And Dano, it will be you, and... Pedersen, you want more meat in your diet? Go catch it. It'll be a few more weeks. Huh. Yeah, no good. Yeah, no good at all. The experience of our latest mission made me think. Young Menk's behavior kept running through my mind. At every command, he had rushed off as if there was no tomorrow. It wasn't just the unconditional obedience to the army command, and to me, that was common among some other soldiers. What was missing was the fear that nearly all soldiers had, and the seemingly natural aversion to killing another person, even if that person had been declared an enemy. Menk didn't seem to shy away from it. I had to make sure I didn't lose any men. Yes. If he wasn't careful, he would end up killing himself. On my next round, I approached him. For a functioning troop, I need every man. For a brief opening, I got to the point. Listen, Menk. I won't have a troop if my men die off. That may not be very romantic, but that's the way it is. For that reason alone, we can't afford a death. Menk looked at me, puzzled. Then after a while, he said, I also want my comrades to survive. I'm prepared to die for them. And for Kaiser, God, and Vaterland, of course. He added that last sentence a little too half-heartedly. You're a good man, I murmured inside. I wish your courage on everyone here. But that's precisely why you're worth more to us if you stay by our side. Menk jutted his chin and nodded curtly. Later, however, I wasn't quite sure whether I had really called him off. Guess we'll find out at some point. As I passed by, I saw some men playing cards. They stared gloomily ahead of them and fell into conversations about their worries, fears, and pains. Therefore, I was all the more surprised to see them joking happily the next time I walked past. I noticed that Pedersen had joined them, but he wasn't much of a talker. How had he managed to cheer them up so much? He just seemed to sit there, listening, making a comment every now and then. The whole group seemed relaxed and happy. I sat down with them. The pleasant mood also spread to me, and I enjoyed the company of my men and the feeling of connection. Nice. It's just about being together. Good recovery removed because likely wounded removed. Oh, Pedersen is no longer somewhat distant. Fantastic. Get rid of these. Nauseated removed. Did I make him empty a trench? A latrine even? Well rested removed. Changed to well rested. Absolutely beautiful. Went down to 1. Only lost 1 turn of food, so I'm going to hope. He's now fully jaded. I'm going to hope that we'll soon be leaving our comrades in the trenches. Make sure your people are ready. Few prisoners of war. But the rats keep on coming. A supply is very much slowly running out. Go back to headquarters a second. Oh, buddy old pal, it'll be a few more weeks. Nope, I can't live with that. Request additional provisions. Accept. Send someone over. It will ruin a bit of my prestige, but I've got plenty to spare, quite frankly. And so, guard captives. Grab you to pick up food. Then Dana and pest control. Then the 2 well-rested guys. Oh, come on. Mold everywhere. Better safe than sorry. I hope this doesn't affect the food I've literally just picked up, because that's going to be very upsetting. Dana had received an unusual letter via the Red Cross, sent by the mayor of Mulhouse. My puzzlement must have been written all over my face when I handed him the letter, because when our eyes met, he sighed and muttered, "It's a long story." Only if you want to share it. I offered. I would hardly force him to do so. Dana hesitated for a few moments, but then began to speak. The short version: my brother-in-law, the husband of my second youngest sister, is a Prussian civil servant in the town of Mulhouse in Upper Alsace. Mulhouse in Standard German. Or rather, he was, until the French repeatedly occupied the town at the beginning of the war, and interned him and many other civil servants. Dana reported, trying hard to sound matter-of-fact. They also took the mayor with them, and he is now using the privilege of his position to ensure that his employees can keep their relatives informed. Dana explained, holding up the paper in his hand. The letter is from my brother-in-law, not the mayor. How are your sister and brother-in-law? I asked cautiously. Dana took the question in stride, which alone relieved me of some of my worries. Aside from the circumstances, they are fine. My brother-in-law reports that the French are treating him well. I'm not particularly close to him, but I think he remembers me better because I was in Mulhouse with my regiment, and helped my sister escape in the days before he was captured. My sister and her little daughter are safe with my parents. I feel sorry for my little niece, who is now growing up without her father. But unfortunately, that's the case for many children at the moment, he added pensively. You were there in Mulhouse? I asked cautiously. My trial by fire, Dana confirmed. The war had just begun. We had marched south from Zabern and had not yet taken up position when the French entered Mulhouse without a fight. We caught up with them shortly afterwards, and the Battle for Mulhouse was decided within a day, in our favour. But the town and the surrounding villages still suffered. I had only been there twice before the war, but it was depressing to see this town, I knew, and my fellow countrymen in such circumstances. Almost as if he had forgotten, he hastily added, and my family, my sister, my brother-in-law, and their little daughter, not even a year old, were still in the town and had to endure all that. My sister fled with the child to my parents before the French marched in again a week later. My brother-in-law wanted and had to stay, and was then detained during the second occupation. The French detained civilians, I exclaimed indignantly. Dana nodded hesitantly, conflicted. Allegedly in retaliation for the Reich's internment of French citizens instead of deporting them when war was declared. Then he turned away, looking dejected. We did worse things when we took back Mulhouse afterwards. Many of our comrades were angry and suspicious. They had heard how many of the town's inhabitants had welcomed the French with celebrations. He hesitated briefly, then continued. There was a shooting one night. A dragoon died, and the local military leadership wanted someone to hold responsible. From what I've heard, 2 of our troops shot at each other. But of course, no one wanted to admit that openly, so the population was blamed. Dozens of houses were burned down, dozens of civilians arrested. 6 of them were executed without trial. Dana stared blankly for a few moments before gathering himself and switching back to a more detached tone. Bitter irony. The mayor had even advocated for the prisoner's release, and a few days later he was captured by the French after they reconquered Mulhouse. So you place your trust in the Alsatian civilians, not the military leadership. A complex situation combined with fear and confusion and recipe for chaos. It doesn't matter who wins, Alsace suffers. Dana nodded dejectedly. I'm glad there aren't any major battles taking place in Alsace. Mulhouse was liberated at the end of August 1914, and has been in our hands ever since. The fewer incidents, the fewer misunderstandings. I guess it ended up being the long version after all, Dana said with a gentle, contented smile. Then he turned his attention to the paper in his hand. You'll excuse me? I'd like to read the letter now. I said a quick goodbye and set about distributing the rest of the letters. All right then. So, we are now comradely. He got good news. He is grateful and relieved. Schmidbauer is no longer likely wounded. We went up to 4 weeks worth of food, so it was kind of worth it. We're still in exceptional prestige. And yet, we've got well rested, up to well rested. We lost well rested. We also lost tired. So, yep, no, overall, pretty good turnaround, pretty good turnaround. I think we've gotten rid of the rats. Fantastic. Field laundry can't keep up with demand. Latrine is full. Full. Filled. That'll be Linux. He loves a good job. Laundry duty. I'm going to keep hold of that for now. Menk, for no reason whatsoever. Loud voices carried over to me as I made my usual rounds that afternoon. Several of my men surrounded Schmidbauer, who was seizing a soldier from another troop by the collar. Among the bystanders was Linux. Even at a distance, I could hear Smitbauer shouting at the other soldier. Traitors like you will get us all killed here. I intervened and had the two of them separated. I demanded to know what was going on. Smitbauer had to be restrained by one of the men so as not to go straight back to charging at the other soldier. He raged. The likes of him are not to be trusted. Such criminals shouldn't be allowed to fight with us here. The other man gasped and relieved and replied, I won't be treated like that. I'm German too, with a passport and everything. That's when I remembered the name of the other soldier, Tony Collini. Smitbauer huffed. Don't make me laugh, the name speaks for itself. Collini wasn't about to put up with this. The fact that my father came from Italy hardly makes me a traitor. We're all comrades here. Leave the man alone, Smitbauer. I interrupted the argument. He's one of us now, and he's fighting alongside us. Smitbauer was about to reply when Linnick put a hand on his shoulder. Come on, let it go. Scoffing, Smitbauer turned away. Punish him. You realize this can't go without consequences. I saw the anger quickly fade from his face. Yes? I'm aware of that. Won't happen again, Herr Unteroffizier. He replied meekly and moved away with his head bowed. The experience made me think. Having Italy in the war would now definitely make the war bigger. And the resentment against Italian immigrants, would probably not subside anytime soon. Should I have handled it differently? What would this development mean for the war and for us? Sometimes you forgot about the rest of the world here at the front, and then it suddenly caught up with us on days like these. Fram and Pedersen were lounging in the tall grass next to a basket full of cherries, which Fram had probably collected himself. They were amusing themselves, flipping the cherries at each other, trying to hit the other's mouth with moderate success. Shouldn't we offer some to Herr Unteroffizier? Pedersen asked his comrade as I approached. After a moment's hesitation, eyeing back and forth between his comrade and me, Fram finally gestured towards the bundle. Some cherries, Herr Unteroffizier? I gracefully accepted. I took them up on the offer, was given a handful of supple cherries, and thanked my soldier. Fram gave me an uneasy smile and a brief nod. So, we've lost the thing of good news. He's no longer nauseated. Oh, sorry, he is nauseated. Smitbauer is well rested, and we are down to 3 days worth of food. Smitbauer, buddy, old pal, I'm happy you're with us. I don't get to punish him because I'm going back to those trenches. He is lucky. He is getting away with that one. Are you going back to the front? Here is everything your troops need. We've got a grenade and bandages back. Right, so let's jump into the trench phase. We have rations for 2 turns. I've received some discarded construction plans from our pioneers, of course. This is our first trench phase. We need more space here for reinforcements, ammunition, and etc. So, let us... What have we got? We have a defensive position. We have set up ladders. And on the other side, we have ladders and barbed wire. What do I have to do? Implement construction projects. 2 of these. Right. Let us set up barbed wire. And let us set up a defensive position. We won't do that. Well, we will kind of do that this turn. Dig bunkers. 1, 2. Fetch rations. 1, 2. Set up barbed wire. 1, 2. That's it. Next turn. What have I got? 12 turns in the trenches. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. While rested has been removed. Well, we do, however, have 5 turns worth of... Ooh, communication trench collapsing. That's a heavy one. Miny, they're all going to get to build something this turn. Aren't they lucky? Next turn. I'm going to see if I can fast forward and... Not fast forward, so to say. Get some more rations this turn, as opposed to having to wait for it to come back to us. Rats have been bothering us for days now. The shelter assigned to us was particularly badly affected, as there seemed to be more and more of them. At night, they crawled into our shirts and trousers. nibbled at our fingertips and bit into our hair. Linux seemed particularly affected. With a pale face and bloodshot eyes, he said to me, Herr Unteroffizier, I can't sleep a wink because of all the rats. Is there nothing we can do about them? I've never tried this response, so let's do it. Make sure you don't have any scraps of food with you. Will it work? I mean, that's don't bother. That's, you know, gung-ho, go for it. Will this work? I don't know. Even the smallest crumb in your pockets or beard will attract the animals. I'll try, he said, peering into his pockets. I hope that would help him keep at least some of the beasts away. However, with the numbers of the rats that we were currently appearing, it was probably just a drop in the bucket. Linux was apparently aware of this as well, because shortly afterwards he approached me again. If I may, Herr Unteroffizier, I would be willing to hunt them down. I gave it some thought. I replied that I would think about it. If we hunted them, there'd just be as many in a few days, but perhaps it would also be good for the men to at least feel like they were doing something. It kind of leads to rat hunting anyway. Just a different way of doing it. The French have been busier than usual lately. Yes, you would like to congratulate me on my amazing skills. Would you like to play a little trick on the French? No. A few new defensive position. I see you're not afraid of hard work. I am not cuddly teddy bear von Carlsberg. The softest, loveliest, cuddliest lieutenant in the world. Right, so let's go on some recon. You're nice and brave. Off you go. Let's go and cut some barbed wire. You two. And let's go and hunt some rats. Ooh. But you know, let's go you. Let's change recon to you. And that'll be you. Sure. Let's see what happens. Ooh, who only knows? Ha! Hand off the edge. You want to guess how many rats Menk and I have caught? All right. 23. Impressive. How did you know that? Pure coincidence, I replied. I take it that's the end of the rat hunt for now. He moved a little to one side that I could take a look at the rats he had killed. Menk and Linux had tied the rats by the tail to a piece of rope, probably so that they could better show off their work. Cut the frippery and get rid of the rats. I reprimanded the two soldier. Boasting about such a task was wrong. Hunting rats wasn't supposed to be fun, it was just supposed to keep the beasts at bay. Grateful added. Fantastic. Rats removed. Tired removed. Food down to 3. Bram, how can I help you? Didn't see anything out of the ordinary during recon. No task given. Well, this is the point then where... Fetch me some rations along with Dana and Smithbauer. 3 people. Ration, run. Should do us pretty well. Set up ladders and set up ladders. Sure, do you know what? Let's just do both of them. One for Menk. And one for Frab. Linux can take a small breather. Foggy added. Fantastic. We've still only gone up to 6 weeks worth of food, and we've got 8 weeks to go until we get back to camp. I usually need someone to deliver a message to headquarters. Oh, Schmidbauer, off you go. You're the winner. Yep, sure. That'll be next turn. Hopefully Foggy stays for another couple of turns. For it to disappear and then us go suddenly into heavy... we're not going to see anything in the fog anyway, so... Let's not even worry about spying. Another communication trench collapsed. Her freaking za. Eeny, meeny, and miny. Can I? Oh, Dana boy. No, I can fetch ammunition. Although, how much am I not full of ammunition? Yep, you have a lovely day. I am full of ammunition. The rats are back to wreck the day. Smith Barrow, additional tasks. Oh, I can fetch rations. Let's do that. So I got rat hunt. That would be... Oh, makes tired, though. Ramp. So that should get us enough rations to get us back to camp, assuming nothing goes wrong. Rat's gone. 6 weeks worth of rations, 5 weeks till we go back to camp, so that's all worked out. Let's hide all of that. How can we help you? Your group is on night watch tonight. Make sure your men do not fall asleep. He is very practical and not very tired. He is very practical and not very tired. Would you look at that? We have a winning combination. And are we foggy again? We are foggy again. I love it. Well, don't get me wrong. The French can very much appear out of the fog, but we're good for now. There was a French raid this morning. A grenade hit our ammo storage. Now a lot of our bullets are deformed and unusual. Not that it ruined our... They've been busier than usual lately. Well, oh, Linnet got lightly wounded. I don't like that. Another communication trench collapsed. That's a shame. I'm going to... Let's see if we can get rid of Linnet, basically. Baron Pedersen. If I can get him back to camp, then maybe. Return, still back at camp. There's been an impact not far from here. The whole section is blocked. Linnet. Our supplies were buried under rubble by an explosion. We were hardly able to save anything that was still edible. Down to 2 weeks worth of food. Well, sod. We just had a little shootout. Okay, so I need to go and fetch some more rations. Let's send you to. That should get me. Hello. That should get me through rebuilding placement. To the end of the phase. Red camp 3 turns. And let's put that in placement back together. Oh, both Dana and Pedersen got lightly wounded. Not exactly great. Rations for 4 turns. People are a little bit more tired. Carried out your orders, but was wounded in the process. Carried out your orders, but was wounded in the process. Okay, next turn. We're almost there, folks. We are almost back in camp. Menk. Dana was hit by a sniper. He is still alive and we took him to the hospital, but he didn't look good when I... Oh, no. Oh, no. He is seriously wounded. RNG. Get out of town. And I didn't know there was a sniper. Did I know there was a sniper? I don't think I knew there was a sniper. I did not put him on a task. All he had to do was hide. That is pure RNG out to get me, that is, because he was doing nothing. We need more space here. Well, go dig a freaking trench then. I am upset now. I am very upset. I mean, taking out Dana like that is just... Ooh, I cannot believe the cheekiness of it. Cannot believe it. Let's see if we get to go back to camp without any more incidents. Tie it down, tie it up. Heavy ass artillery. Pack your things. Good. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the end of the episode. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed it. It was just a very quick camp and then trench phase. And when we come back, well, we're going to have to see about patching up Dana. He's usually got pretty good recovery, so as long as the field hospital isn't too full, we should be okay. But yeah, RNG kick me in the face. And so until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed it. And of course, until we see you again, I truly do hope that you can stay safe, happy, and healthy.